YouTube, check it out, man. Hold on. We're gonna try something different, bro. It's a long video. I got a little work to do on Memorial Day, so I can get it out the way. We're gonna react, do work. We got many murders of Munna Duke. They saying if I sit back, cause get back gang don't, they got my back. He said, I can't go like that. I'm still a killer before the rap. Your homie died. I'm smoking that. I'm tired of smelling. He said, I'm thinking about creating and the hey DQ, who is that? Let's get into it.
In the early morning hours of Saturday the 10th of May 2025, another tragedy would strike in the streets of Chicago. At 1:20 a.m, a group of people were leaving the Chicago barbecue restaurant and bar when suddenly shots rang out. 3 men would be hit, with 2 of them passing away later in hospital and the 3rd miraculously surviving.
Also, I watch this on Patreon, so you gonna see black screens here and there.
Shocking footage of injured people lying on the ground was recorded by passers-by and would later circulate on the internet and social media.
Like right here.
The video was captioned that stuff can get wild in Chicago, but that was an understatement. 2 days after this brazen double homicide, the Chicago Sun-Times newspaper would reveal that one of the men killed was a leader of one of the most notorious gangs in Chicago history, O-Block, a notorious faction of the larger Black Disciples street gang. The article recognized one of the people hit as Munna Duke, real name Rashawn Vance, as an associate of the infamous drill rapper and O-Block's most prominent member, King Von, whilst also mentioning how Duke himself had actually been identified as one of the head honchos of the O-Block criminal enterprise during the trial of the so-called O-Block 6, a deadly hit squad that had been convicted for racketeering and murder of the popular gangster disciple rapper FBG Duck. Munna Duke and King Von went way back, and while Von has been worshipped as O-Block's most vicious shooter, allegedly getting away with 7 murders before becoming a rapper and losing his life suddenly in 2020, when King Von was writing his lyrics, he would identify Duke as one of his most effective hitmen, giving him the menacing nickname King Kong. With Duke's name being attached to up to 4 gruesome murders in O-Block's gang war, he was not only a feared gangster, but he was also a veteran of the gang war in Chicago, having survived over a decade of violence and outliving many of his most famous peers in his set. The hit that claimed the lives of Duke and another O-Block member called Youngin, real name Darrell Givens, while injuring one other man, took place almost 20 miles away from the Parkway Gardens
Pause it real quick.
housing complex that O-Block controls. The much more affluent north side, which is mostly inhabited by well-off middle-class families, likely felt like a place where these 2 seasoned gangsters could let their guard down and enjoy a fun and relaxing night out. But just like the rapper FBG Duck had likely felt safe when he was shopping in the high-end Gold Coast shopping district right before getting brutally gunned down by 6 friends of Duke and Youngin. These 2 would also learn the hard way that when you live by the gun, there's no place in Chicago where you can hide or escape it. In many ways, it was a miracle that Duke had even made it to 2025 with his life intact, but unfortunately for him, the streets never forget. And even more shocking than his brazen assassination is what happened next, as numerous gang sets that have had issues with O-Block over the years would all begin peeking out from the shadows, with some hinting at being responsible for the murder, while others affiliated with some of the most famous gangs that would have wanted to kill Duke begged for peace and called for both sides not to retaliate, while the online sleuths and Reddit detectives have been working overtime to try and solve who and what might have caused this latest tragedy to hit O-Block. The murder of Duke, one of their oldest and most feared members, has been one of the most devastating losses that O-Block has ever suffered, but it also represents the tables turning on this once fearsome Chicago gang. As for years, O-Block and their Get Back gang had orchestrated untold violence on the street of Chicago, getting one up on numerous other gangs in the area. But now, with the death of Duke, everyone is pointing the finger. So today, we're going to take a closer look at Duke's street history, the alleged murders that he was associated with, the gangs in Chicago that hated him, and the insane theories about exactly which people might have carried out this bold assassination without a single care for their safety or freedom.
Where
we at, man? Where we at?
What's up, man? We in Hobart, man.
We in the
It's your boy King Blank. TSG 3-way.
So tell us about the Jado Jump Out Boys. Who
I forgot
who
Buddy's
all is
name
that?
on the left. He really rapping for real.
That's a lot of us.
BD cause they was trying to say y'all renegade BDs.
Once Vaughn, like, blew up, started rapping, because he always, say my name.
He looked like
things
somebody.
that. So they like, hey, who was Duke? Who was Duke? For the people that didn't know, like, who I was, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, at 5363 Adam, it was a dark 4-door vehicle. The subject jumped out, shot at close range, got back in and fled northbound on state. Male black, 6 foot with dreads and a white t-shirt and jeans. 6'3", go ahead.
I'm trying to think who he looks like.
Smoking on that 10 belly. They know.
The nigga T-Roy.
Police have released surveillance pictures of 3 suspects they say are wanted for murder.
Look, J-Lo got his ass smoked.
31-year-old Christian Hamilton was shot multiple times. He raps under the name FBG Cash.
Off of that block when they don't pay, I'm out pay, I take his face.
Do y'all homework.
Do y'all
it's
homework
looking like this
Munna
BD crime right now. Do y'all homework on BD crime, bro.
How was it growing up on Front Street?
Do your homework on Tato.
6'1", man. SSR. That was dollar sign, man.
Fuck what y'all heard. I ain't out here seeing talking on my ass like these niggas do, bro. Folks done killed T-Roy and Vaughn killed that nigga. No matter what the fuck y'all.
It's also one of them people, bro, like, even if y'all think he forgave a motherfucker, bro, he don't forget.
Do your homework
Chief
on
Keith shot him.
K600.
He is in intensive care.
Say fuck up deep, but that's my boy. You feel? I'm from there.
Is everybody in the area BD? Or just like y'all crowd like this? Everybody.
I heard y'all confronted Gourley Gang and Bloodbath at the United Center.
What they be saying on the internet?
What they say on the internet?
Seeing motherfuckers in person and niggas don't be, you know?
Don't be the same.
This morning, a mass shooting on the city's south side is under investigation.
Police say 5 men were shot while they were just standing outside.
I got shot right here type shit. I got shot in O Block.
Wow, O Block's so nice, but you got shot right over there.
Shut up, boss.
Even if it was 10th true, why would you even say that?
We're trying to say y'all got into it with O-Block over the word Bloodbath.
An overnight shooting has left 2 people dead. There's another individual hurt.
The shooting happened at this place called Pork Chops. We're standing right here on the sidewalk when someone drove by and started shooting.
28-year-old Darrell Givens was shot yesterday.
You know, it's a real war. The streets are talking, and people saying this revenge was done.
2 of the main old Blockians lost their lives last night, bro, due to gun violence in Chicago, bro.
It's crazy because it looked like J-Man really crying. He really trying to start the peace. I don't blame him.
In order to understand the gruesome events that took place on the 10th of May, we have to discuss how O-Block became not just one of the most known gang sets in modern Chicago, but also one of the most hated. Now, don't worry, if you're already a Chicago gang expert, I won't bore you with the same story that's been told a million times.
all of these
For that, you can go and watch any of my old videos about the topic. But if you're not familiar at all, these are just the basics. In the beginning of the early drill era, O-Block was known to mainly ally with other black disciple gang sets from nearby areas. Sets like Lamron 300, best known for the rappers Lil Durk and Lil Reese. 600, made famous by rappers like L.A. Capone, Rondo Number 9, and E-Day, who have all unfortunately either passed away or gotten locked up, and Front Street, which is better known for the late rapper Fredo Santana, as well as his cousin, Chief Keef, who spent a lot of time at both O-Block, where his mother stayed, and Front Street, where his grandmother lived. On the other hand, O-Block's rivals were all predominantly gangster disciple sets from nearby areas. STL EBT, best known for the late rapper FBG Duck, as well as other members of the FBG crew like FBG Young, FBG Butter, and FBG Cash. Jaro City, which is best known for the former rapper and current peace pusher FYB J Main, and Taekwon World, a set that hails from the same blocks as Jaro City and STL EBT, but mainly consists of younger members who grew up in the same age bracket as 13-year-old Jaro City member named Taekwon Tyler, who was killed in 2012. His friends then started Taekwon World in his honor. As me and other YouTubers have covered, countless people would end up losing their lives in the war between O-Block, its allies, and their rivals during the 2010s, with O-Block losing numerous key members like O.D. Perry in 2011, his death resulting in O-Block, formerly known as Wick City, changing its name to O-Block in his honor. Then the J Money or J Munna, whose death in 2013 would result in O-Block also going by the name O-Block Munna Gang or OBMG, or Glock Boys Munna Gang aka GBMG, while numerous other members of O-Block would begin to add Munna to their names, such as Ocho Munna, Zel Munna, Buck Munna, Munna Ike, Munna Mond, Ty Munna, and of course Munna Duke himself. And the death of King Von's best friend T-Roy in 2017, who was famously gunned down inside a grocery store directly under a security camera, allegedly by 2 members of the rival gangs, the shooters being TB, aka Terry Barry from Taekwon World, and Get Right, aka Man Man from STL EBT. T-Roy's murder would cause an unprecedented wave of violence in the streets, as O-Block and their allies like 600 would form a group known as the Get Back Gang, aka GBG, whose one and only mission was to avenge T-Roy's death by killing as many rivals as they possibly could, killing up to 8 people in 2017 alone, including key members from the rival gangs like FBG Duck's brother Brick and Taekwon World members Poppy and TB. However, coming into the 2020s, much of these early beasts have died down significantly, which seems natural given that the members from those early days have reached their late 20s, early 30s, and some even in their late 30s. And the older you get, get, the less attractive it probably feels to spend your time running around in the streets chasing down your ops. And on the other hand, with so many of the most active members sadly losing their lives in the war, there simply aren't that many people left to keep up the tit-for-tat.
I know that's how Boss Top is. Boss Top said he's done with the streets, bro. He trying to better his life. He trying to get like Bibby for real. Start his own label. I don't blame him. That's the way to go. If you got money, bro, do it.
Doesn't mean that the war is by any means over, and people still keep on dying, with some of the more recent victims from the 2020s, including of course FBG Duck, who was famously gunned down by 6 O-Block shooters in August 2020, but also lesser known people like a younger O-Block member named Jado, real name Jabari Pittman, who was gunned down in the Oakland neighborhood in February 2020. And while Jado's killer had not been caught, online rumors would connect his death to the Taekwon World set, whose member D Money would go live on Instagram less than an hour after the murder, dissing Jado and saying how they were still sliding traffic 5 cars deep.
Look, Jado got his ass smoked. And we still spinning like 5 cars deep, no doubt.
Jado's death would result in younger members from O-Block creating a clique in his honor called the Jado Jump Out Boys, or simply Jado Jump Outs.
Y'all call yourselves the Jado Jump Out Boys?
Yeah.
Okay, I see Jado tatted on your hand.
Yeah, that's my boy.
And I know Shootbox got a tattoo of Jado right in his face.
Yeah, I got a portrait of him. Yeah.
Right.
Which is now one of several cliques within O-Block that the newer generations rep, another key group being called the TSG, or Take Some Gang.
Yeah, I'm out of this area. I don't know none of these kids besides dude that was sitting on the left.
Take some game. Take some game. Take your brains, take your cherries, and
wait, that's
D-Money would allegedly strike again later that same year, when a civilian named Armand Proctor was gunned down inside O-Block in June 2020.
Police have released surveillance pictures of 3 suspects they say are wanted for murder. The image captures the 3 men as they were running away from 63rd and Martin Luther King Drive on June 19th. Police say they are involved in the murder of a 23-year-old man named Armand Proctor. Proctor was found dead on the sidewalk just after midnight with multiple gunshot wounds.
And while D-Money would not be charged for the murder, Reddit sleuths would later point out how he had posted a video on Instagram while creeping inside O-Block that very night. Meanwhile, the Chicago police published footage from a security camera from the night of the murder, showing 3 masked men walking inside O-Block, these allegedly being D-Money and his friends.
Oh, how the heck they got in O-Block? I swear they had to enter a gate. Well, I think there is a fence.
If that wasn't proof enough, when someone would post D-Money's video online again, D-Money would contact the person asking him to remove the
gonna get me locked up,
video because it was going to get him locked up, while the person would essentially blackmail D-Money by asking for money in exchange for removing.
If you work with me, I can work with you. Can you send 62 Cash App and I'll take it down immediately. Only have it up because I need the money. If you send it, I'll take it down. All of the
video.
videos.
And after D-Money would pay, the person would then swear on his dead grandmother that he wasn't going to post the video again.
Merch, you're not gonna post it again when I send the money. I put it on my dead granny. I grade, bro. No BS on my son. Alright, bro. Answer real fast. What's your Cash App name, bro? Dollar Long Way. You got my word for sure. My bad, I was doing something, but you got it. Dollar Long Way. I bet you send. I sent you that shit. Say access. What? Bro, make sure that's completely gone. I sent it, bro. Make that go. It gone, bro. Thank you, broski.
Again, only to post their entire conversation online afterwards. Then, about a year later in May 2021, D-Money would meet his end as he was fatally shot in a drive-by while walking his dog in the Woodlawn neighborhood not far from O-Block. After his death, members of Taekwon World would diss O-Block in unison in a picture taken at his memorial, with everyone dropping the O-Block hand sign as a sign of disrespect, while also posting pictures together with the caption F O-Block, clearly implying that they thought that O-Block had something to do with his death. Members from O-Block would also participate in the dissing of D-Money and hint at their involvement, like a member from the new generation called Lil Mike, who would wish D-Money a happy birthday on social media, a common tactic used to troll their enemies, while another younger member named Munna would post a picture of him and another guy lighting a blunt together with a caption caption saying "flame him" and 3 dog emojis, another obvious diss towards D-Money. Then, about a year later, in June 2022, the O-Block side would allegedly get another major notch on their belt after the rapper FBG Cash, real name Tristan Hamilton, was brutally gunned down in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood.
Well-known Chicago area rapper was killed in a drive-by shooting early this morning in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood.
When another car would cut him off in traffic, and 2 gunmen appeared from the car, opening fire, discharging nearly 24 rounds and leaving Cash dead by a tree, whilst also seriously injuring a girl that was with him.
A 29-year-old woman with him was also shot, taken to the hospital in serious condition. It is believed Hamilton fired back at the shooter.
As I've discussed in depth in my video about Lil Durk and his several murder for hire allegations, Cash's murder has also been connected with Lil Durk, who would troll Cash mercilessly after his death, while also implying that he and his goons had something to do with it.
Hey, you ain't have your gun for them, you better have your gun for me. Better have your gun for Mooney. Better have your gun for C. You don't believe me, you gonna see. You gonna end up by that tree.
Know that we did it.
That's crazy.
And I got my gun for Munna, they call him Chief.
Some of these goons have been rumored to have been from O-Block, including guys like Buck Munna, who would diss Cash numerous times in his songs.
He there to go, that's what he get, man. He can't take another pick. He got hit, he took a shit, word around it was a net. Off for that block where they don't play, I'm about to play, I take his face. And I ain't missed cause I know they pissed, I know they mad, that old ass man up in the bag. The switches came and made them crash. I don't smoke Tuka, I smoke Cash.
It's weird.
I'm just lying, that shit weak, that shit ain't Zara, that shit OG.
While also making fun of him by acting out his final moments.
Nah, he really trolling.
Even allegedly showing a photo of Cash's dead body during a video posted on social media.
SIT through the race, put his mans right in space. I'm a bag like on wild, baby hard on my block. Try me see all smart, ain't no looking up the dark. Niggas bitch be all boy.
However, besides these old rivalries, O-Block has also made some new enemies, and even fallen out with old allies. Most famously, the formerly very strong alliance between O-Block and Front Street has gone through some extremely hard times. The beginning of this beef goes arguably years back to the mid-2010s, when Chief Keef would have a falling out with Lil Durk and his old friends from O-Block, after Keef would allegedly fail to provide bail money to their incarcerated member Trey 5, despite promising money during conversations with the O-Block members, choosing to spend the money instead on stuff like a $10,000 four-wheeler.
See, I hear different stories about this. I hear that it was supposed to be Buddy here, and I heard it was supposed to be D-Rose. I really don't know who it's supposed to be, but the story's adding up. Sosa didn't want to get somebody out of it. He didn't want to keep spending money on bonds, but he said, bro, y'all gotta get out of this street shit, bro. I made it. Y'all gotta figure out how to make it.
This would allegedly lead to O-Block's members going to Keef's manager's mansion, located in the rich suburbs in the outskirts of Chicago, which would lead to a shootout that left one person injured and in the hospital. As mentioned, Keef has family ties to both O-Block and Front Street, but his ties to Front Street are arguably much stronger, with 2 of his very close cousins, the late rappers Fredo Santana and Blood Money, aka Big Glow, both being highly respected members of Front Street. And this is where things begin to truly go left, because while Fredo would eventually die in 2018 due to health problems allegedly resulting from his excessive drug consumption, Blood Money would be gunned down in Chicago in April 2014, only a few weeks after the shooting at Keef's manager's house. Both deaths would hit Front Street hard, and after Blood Money's death, they would honor him by beginning to call their set Blood Gang, while Fredo's death would lead to some Front Street members to even separate and start a new set known as Savage Squad, named after the music label that Fredo had founded, called the SSR, or Savage Squad Records. However, O-Block would actually begin to diss Blood Money after his death due to their beef with Keef, and the O-Block OG Boss Top allegedly saying F Blood Money after the incident in a now deleted tweet, while Keef would respond by saying that he'd say FOD to diss O-Block, but OD Perry was his real friend, so he can't do that.
Would say fuck OD, but that's my boy.
Oh, I was about to say.
I'm from there. You know? But O-Block.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things would only go downhill from here, and already during the summer of 2014, O-Block members would allegedly hold people at Keith's mansion at gunpoint while Keith himself was at court, before leaving with a bunch of Keith's expensive items like his chains and watches, with Keith himself hopping on social media to accuse Boss Top, aka Tyree Davis, of the robbery, while Boss Top would openly flaunt the items on social media. Eventually, rumors would begin to spread online that O-Block might have had something to do with Blood Money's murder, with former O-Block member Jay Hood even later claiming that it was King Von and T. Roy who were behind the hit.
That shit was straight back though.
Damn.
You don't gotta believe that you can hear whatever. Oh, these people saw this. I don't give a fuck what y'all heard. I ain't out here seeing talking on my ass like these niggas do, bro. Folks them killed T-Roy and Von killed that nigga.
However, besides Blood Money, there would seemingly be no other casualties in this beef for years to come. For a long time, this beef appeared to simmer in the background, perhaps due to the respect that many of the older members still had towards each other, but in recent years, both sides have become increasingly open in dissing each other, like Front Street member Mari posting in 2023 asking how does O-Block supposedly run the King Drive, this being the main street that goes past both of their territories, when they have the same enemies, but nobody from the enemy side ever dies, as well as saying the last person who dissed Blood Money had almost died, and saying F that one guy who tried to fight, an obvious reference to King Von, who was shot down by Quando Rondo's friend Lil Tim.
Oh, they really split up.
Front Street are also openly dissing O-Block by dropping their hand sign.
I knew O-Block was going to split up earlier because they had some oh snap, y'all probably couldn't even see the screen. It's okay, but I knew y'all ain't missed nothing. But I know O-Block was gonna split up because they had some little the young niggas was tripping out on each other,
but who also remain the main rivals of Front Street. O-Block has also returned the favor, with younger members like Woney dissing Front Street directly by name on Twitter,
crazy
while the young
I
members
gotta
would diss Blood Money while on Instagram Live, as well as saying that Front Street had gone extinct.
Ain't no fucking Front Street.
But it's only $2 if y'all want to watch this and see bodies or something crazy. Just sell for $2.
What the fuck is the front street? I'm saying right there, we be sipping on blood and shit while we on the front line.
Shout out Trap
These kind of
Lil
fallouts between old friends point to the ever more fracturing state of the Chicago gangscape, with gangs becoming increasingly small and splintered due to the lack of any organized leadership. And nothing is a better example of that than the fact that there have even been conflicts within O-Block in recent years, particularly between the old and new generations. The most infamous example being when one member of the new generation, Munna would allegedly shoot a member from the older generation called A-Roy after losing a fight with him in
This is exactly what I was talking about. The young niggas was tripping out, bro. And they had an internal O-Block beef, bro. Yo, they both jumping him. Hold on. Whoa, I can't show this. Hold on. I just realized I can't show this. Sorry.
December 2021, this whole incident taking place inside O-Block and being caught on a phone camera filmed from one of the buildings.
Damn!
After this incident, Munna would shockingly not be arrested, despite the video going viral online, but he was seemingly banned from coming back to O-Block for some time.
Don't ask me about no niggas you don't see me with, or I don't mention none of that shit. I don't know what's to them bitch ass niggas. I don't know them niggas. I don't fuck with them niggas. It's going like that.
I'm gonna break it down for y'all since y'all couldn't see it. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. Buddy right here. I'm gonna just show y'all that I'm gonna hide the screen.
For 2021, this whole incident taking place inside O-Block and being caught on a phone camera.
He gets up, takes his gun out.
One of the buildings.
He was beating him up. He gets up, takes his gun out. He starts running. Straight gunfire. Shoots him in the back. Shoots him 2 more times while he down.
After this incident, Munna would shockingly not be arrested, despite the video going viral online, but he was seemingly banned from coming back to O-Block for some time.
Don't ask me about no niggas you don't see me with, or I don't mention none of that shit. I don't know what's to them bitch ass niggas. I don't know them niggas. I don't fuck with them niggas. It's going like that. It's that simple. Niggas know not to come around me. Niggas don't like me because I'm too slimy. I'm for them to get too slimy. So don't tell me about no niggas you don't see me with or I don't hang with on the guys. I don't know what happened to them niggas on foot no.
However, this ban wouldn't ultimately last, as the old generation would seemingly decide to take the side of Munna in the end.
I don't know how the fuck I'm coming, man. Stop playing. I'm full of bread.
Frustrating the brother of A-Roy, who felt betrayed by his own generation. However, Munna's luck wouldn't ultimately last, and in May 2025, he would finally be charged with A-Roy's murder, whilst already being locked up for another case. Lastly, there are also completely new enemies that O-Block has been making in recent years, one of these being a set called Ghoulie Gang, also known as Bloodbath,
Oh.
130. This name coming from the location of their hood at
Wait, never mind.
130th Street
Blood
in
Money
the far
is
south
not
side,
Front Street. I don't
particularly
know who
in the
these
Old Guild
people are.
Gardens, public housing project, and the surrounding areas. This gang is undoubtedly best known for the young rapper Chucky, who is in fact signed to Lil Durk's OTF label, which make his gang's beef with O-Block just that much more complicated. Allegedly, these two gangs had a cordial relationship until about July 2022, when there would be a mass shooting in O-Block, where several O-Block members, including Boss Top, would end up getting shot, with Boss Top later getting asked about the incident by Adam22, but he would have very few words to describe what happened.
What the fuck happened? You were just walking around, like we were talking about how O-Block's so nice, but you got shot right over there, right?
I mean, I just know I was on motherfucking Instagram. I was finna go live, and I just felt some shit.
You were about to go live.
Yeah, and I just felt something.
Out on the street, not in the actual complex.
I just felt something, and that's it.
Pictures from the scene reported by the newspapers would show people getting carried away on stretchers, with interestingly, the man in the picture being a rapper known as Action Savage from Ghoulie Gang, who would post sometime later how this had been his third time getting shot in less than a month. Action Savage had long been affiliated with O-Block, these ties going all the way back to the beginning of the drill movement, as he would later explain to DJ U.
Like, it's a video on YouTube with Boss Top and Dirk. A Boss Top and Dirk video, that 30 Choppers video. Like,
Right.
you can look it up. Like, you gonna see me right there in the thumbnail of the video type shit. This was like, I don't even know, like, yeah, this was like 2013 or some shit like that. Like, this is a minute ago type shit. But
But for a while, things appeared to be calm. In December 2022, Boss Top would be arrested on gun charges, and he would end up getting locked up for about 2 years. While in July 2023, Action Savage would still actually release a song and a music video together with the O-Block rapper E-Dog. But then, as Chucky begun getting increasingly popular, problems began to appear. As Chucky would rep heavily the Bloodbath moniker for his set, which according to members from O-Block originally came from them, as the O-Block rapper Shoebox Baby would later explain to 16 Shot 'em.
The term that was used in our neighborhood, like, you know, like that's what we call each other. But when the guys like got that shit from, like, I think off a movie or something, I ain't tweaking. When the guys got that off a movie or some shit.
Like an old movie, right?
Yeah. And we was just calling each other there around that time. They was around us. So, you know, it's like you around somebody, like, y'all pick up motherfuckers lingos and shit like that, you know?
But then, in 2024, these two sets would suddenly begin to go back and forth on social media, with one member of the Ghoulie Gang posting a picture of Munna calling him an imposter while saying that Ghoulie Gang are the real Bloodbath, to which Mond would reply by saying who the F is the Bloodbath member who was dissing him, and saying why is he acting like he can't die. This beefing would continue as O-Block members would see Chucky repping the Bloodbath moniker while shooting a music video with Lil Durk and YTB Fat, with O-Block members hitting back and calling Chucky and his Ghoulie Gang friends swaggerjackers and actors, while the Ghoulie Gang would call O-Block members broke, particularly aiming their words towards the new generation of O-Block, likely due to Lil Durk still being very close with the older generation. But then, things would get even more complicated, as Action Savage would drop a song and a music video called Computers, using the classic beat from the 2014 song of Rowdy Rebel and Bobby Shmurda, later used by one of O-Block's biggest rivals, FBG Wooski, to diss them. And he would use this beat to rap a line saying how Boss Top had fronted his move, so he had taken his gun and clapped him back. This line seemingly referring to the night when they had both gotten shot in O-Block, as Action Savage would then confirm during his DJU interview.
Mention Boss Top, right? You know, everybody want to know about the line you dissed him in your Computers remix. Boss Top fronted his shit. I took his pipe and clapped him. Yo, Computers remix, that's out on YouTube now, dropped 5 months ago.
yeah, man. Boss Top ass a dork game. Like, I don't really, like, we out the pipe, he had that bitch pointed at me type shit. I'm looking at the pipe type shit. He just looking at me though type shit. Like, I ain't got no jewelry on.
It's crazy,
that
bro.
Shit. Like, cause it be rumors and shit talking about he tried to rob me or he took some shit from me. Like, ain't nobody ever took shit from me. Like, I ain't ever got robbed before. Point that bitch at me type shit. I'm looking at that bitch. He just talking though. So I'm just looking at that bitch. I look up, shit. Shots got fired, and then, but not from me though. I'm just right there. He got the pipe in my face, and when the shots get let off, he just looking all crazy. I just like, oh man, he ain't on shit. I mean, he ain't on shit with that bitch. I grab that bitch like this. He get to trying to move. Now he trying to force, like, put that bitch in my face. I'm moving that bitch back and forth type shit. I grab the bottom of that bitch. He try to run. I snatch it. So now as I snatch it, he popped the clip out that bitch. I smack his ass. He try to take off. I point that bitch at him. It ain't nothing in the clip though. He ain't even have one up top, none of that shit. I took the pipe, but I threw that bitch like I ain't even keep the pipe and shit. Bro. I got shot like right after that type shit. Like, shot me in my leg and shit, like, and took off running type shit. Then I try to get to the car, look up shit.
The song would prompt the two sides to go back and forth once again, with one O Block member posting the picture of Action Savage getting put on the ambulance after the incident, while a Ghoulie Gang member would respond by saying how O Block are goofies and nobody from their side should have made it out alive if O Block are really who they say they are. Meanwhile, Boss Top would deny even knowing Action Savage when asked about the matter during his No Jumper interview.
Boss Top said he didn't know nobody but Von and T-Roy.
Get the views. But if he making music and he got stories like that, I think he needs to write urban novels. He needs to write books. He'd be a good author.
Now that we know more about O Block's modern-day allies and rivals, let's take a closer look at the two victims of the recent double murder, focusing particularly on Munna Duke, because while Young'un was somebody who was more focused on hustling and staying off the radar of his ops, Munna Duke would allegedly end up doing many things during his life that would ultimately make his rivals hate him enough to follow him all across the city just to take his life. Munna Duke has always been considered to have been one of the most respected members of O Block. Even the notorious King Von, a drill rap icon and an alleged serial killer with 7 bodies, immortalized Duke's menacing reputation on his track Beat Dat Body, where he boasted about taking Duke on hits with him and giving him the menacing nickname King Kong. But the question is, what had Duke done in the streets to make King Von give him such a name? Even though Duke never lived in the Parkway Gardens, aka the O Block housing projects, his destiny was intertwined with that community from early on.
Now, still reside in O Block today, or you've moved out since then?
I don't live in there, no. I don't live in there.
I was about to say, bro.
I thought you said where I was raised at, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let's back up.
Don't move out of
You were raised in O Block
That's
from
our
about
issue.
8, 9 till when?
I never lived in there, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's true. I never lived in there. I just grew up around in that neighborhood, you know what
Got
I'm
it.
saying?
His family had moved just outside O Block when he was just 8 years old, while having first spent his early years in the so-called Calumet building, aka the Randolph Tower, located only about a block away from Parkway. This building was home to many kids who would later become members of O Block, while at the time it acted as a headquarters for an infamous Black Disciple faction that ran a massive drug operation from there during the 90s and early 2000s, before the building was ultimately demolished in the mid-2000s.
No, I was in that area, like in that vicinity, you know what I'm saying? And once my project got too down, I kind of moved right there, you know what I'm saying, to O Block when I was kind of like a kid.
Duke has opened up in interviews about how his youth was a harsh landscape of poverty and uncertainty.
I grew up, goddamn it, sleeping on the floor, you know what I'm saying, with a house full of people, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like a...
And he was also mentioned how he was haunted by the fear of possibly not seeing his own 18th birthday.
Is something gonna happen to me, or will I be able to make it to see this age, you know? So.
The halls of elementary and high school served as a breeding ground for alliances and animosities. Other kids who would later become members of affiliated gangs like Lamron, 600, and Front Street.
Oh yeah, we all grew up together. Like we all went to the same grammar school, you know? We all went to the same grammar school, and it just went from there, you know, grammar school to high school, and to the age we is now.
And members of rival gangs like 051 Young Money, who were located on the other side of Washington Park.
We went to school with a lot of motherfuckers from 51st Young Money. It was a lot of their ass, and I ain't gonna lie. A lot of like Rockhead and all their ass, I think. Arrow, all them.
As he got older, Duke would become very close with many of the O Block's most infamous members, including O.D. Perry, T-Roy, and of course King Von. By the age of 14 in 2008, Duke's entanglement with the law became a defining chapter, and his early and frequent arrests and incarcerations led to him dropping out of high school, while also effectively sidelining him during Chief Keef's early ascent to the top of the drill movement in the early 2010s, and the subsequent explosion of King Von's rap career in the late 2010s too.
I'd say Von was a top moment, but I wasn't around for it. I was kind of locked up, but that was like a top moment.
But when he would be free, between those time periods, Duke plunged headfirst into the streets. As mentioned earlier, the tragic murder of T-Roy ignited a firestorm of vengeance within O Block, and the summer of 2017, named the Summer of Get Back, became synonymous with the chilling moniker the Get Back Gang, as O Block members were out for revenge. Later on, whispers in the streets and rumors on the internet have often pointed to Munna Duke having been one of the central figures in this series of retaliatory killings that followed T-Roy's death. The bloodshed began on May the 14th, 2017, as Warren Delton, known in Jaro City as Lil Ho, became the alleged victim of the Get Back Gang. As he stood with a group near 62nd and Eberhart, only a few minutes' drive from O Block, 4 shadowy figures emerged from an alley. 3 unleashed a hail of gunfire that struck Lil Ho down, and in a brutal display, at least one shooter stood over his fallen body, delivering multiple final shots before vanishing back into the streets. The case remains unsolved, and the perpetrators a mystery to this day, but many key Get Back Gang members, such as McAdoo from 600 and E-Dog, Gleesh, and Duke from O Block, are regularly considered to be the main suspects. Just 8 days after Lil Ho's murder, on May the 22nd, the violence continued as Jamie Jones, known in the streets as MOB Jamo, was driving westbound on 59th Street at LaSalle when an occupant of another vehicle opened fire, striking him multiple times. Authorities identified him as a gangster disciple, and his death occurred in the heart of a known gang conflict zone. Though concrete evidence would again remain elusive, the hand of the Get Back gang was once again suspected, with rumors placing 600 members, McAdoo and Cap, and O Block members, Duke and HK at the scene.
They flying through these
Violence
murders.
continued a month later, on June the 16th. Taekwondo World member Gerard Rhyme, better known as Poppy, was at his workplace at the LMP Foods and Candy Warehouse on the corner of 71st and State Street.
The victim. So, he worked
Look at
at
TV.
this candy store.
Shortly after 3 p.m., a seemingly ordinary act of assisting a customer would turn deadly.
The subject was putting groceries in the vehicle.
When a shooter suddenly appeared
No,
from a four-door vehicle,
he was the
firing
dude.
multiple shots
Yeah,
at
he was the
point-blank
dude
range,
helping
or
the
quickly
lady
getting back
put
to the
groceries
vehicle,
in her
which
car.
would then flee northbound.
Okay, at 363 Adam, it was a dark four-door vehicle. The subject jumped out, shot at close range, got back in, and fled northbound on State.
3 of these shots would hit Poppy's head, and he would have no chance of surviving.
Oh, can't see.
The brazen murder had several
Alright.
witnesses who offered a description of the shooter, around 6 feet tall with dreadlocks and face concealed by a mask.
Male black, 6 foot with dreads and a white t-shirt and jeans.
Initial suspicions fell on T-Roy's brother, HK, who was seen flaunting his T-Roy pendant in the aftermath of the murder, as if sending a message that he had indeed avenged his brother's death. And after this incident, HK, or Heck as he was known at the time, would get his nickname, the initials HK actually being short for Headshot King. But while the murder of Poppy has always been attributed to HK, the narrative would get more complex as members of Taekwondo World would heavily memorialize Poppy after Duke's murder, perhaps hinting at a deeper and more direct connection between Duke and Poppy's killing. The witness's description of the shooter was a tall figure with dreads, and that would chillingly align more closely with Munna Duke's appearance at the time, who was both taller than HK and had slightly longer dreadlocks. This convincing some that Poppy's killer had indeed actually been Duke, while it's also possible that he might well have been the driver for the hit. The following year, on June the 16th, 2018, the bloodshed revisited the streets. It was around 9:50 p.m. when 2 men were gunned down outside of a restaurant on the 400 block of the East 63rd Street, only a stone's throw away from O Block. Troy Hampton, an innocent janitor, aged 43, was struck in the chest, dying at the scene, while 22-year-old DeAndre Wallace, known as Get Right or Man Man from STL EBT, also fell victim to the hail of bullets, succumbing to his wounds in the hospital. Surveillance footage painted a grim picture, showing 2 shooters running up and relentlessly targeting both victims, even continuing to fire at Get Right as he lay helpless on the ground.
Oh, this was at the gas station. So I remember this. They shot the old man out of no reason.
They seen him coming. They didn't say nothing. Brad didn't get shot. He just lowered himself. He just went down. Yeah. But the dude right up started shooting him. Dude tried to run. They shot him up.
Oh shoot!
Oh, in his bag.
Well, it's too late.
While
It's too
officially
late.
unsolved, online theories have pointed strongly towards 2 members of O Block, Munna Duke, and the infamous shooter from the younger generation,
I was at the-
Muwop.
hold on.
In the same month,
Bro, I was so deep into it, bro. I had to stop recording so I know where to cut it out at, bro. Like, I'm so used to watching these by myself and see it. Buddies get gunned down. I'm not gonna cut it out. I'm gonna just black the screen out so you guys can't even see it. But let's get back to it. I'm gonna figure out a way to get you guys to see. I might make like a Rumble account and you guys can see this shit.
King Von ominously tweeted about a new op pack that his brothers had created, while O Block veteran E-Dog added fuel to the fire, posting a picture featuring Muwop and Duke, accompanied by the caption, "You better get right or get left," a phrase also used in other social media posts that featured both Muwop and Duke. Muwop himself would share a photo with Duke in what fans speculated was them reenacting the murder, as Muwop makes a gun with his fingers pointing directly at the camera, while Duke's gun fingers point towards the ground like he's standing over somebody and shooting, with Muwop captioning the post saying that people have no idea what type of bond they have together, while ending with the cryptic line that the picture speaks for itself. King Von's track Problems again would also eerily mirror the details of this horrific incident, with lyrics describing shooting both the target and the witness, while King Von can even be seen gesturing towards Duke in the track's music video right after he raps these lines. After earning his stripes in the streets, and unfortunately losing King Von, who at the time of his runaway rap career looked like O Block's ticket out of the streets, Duke himself would start rapping in 2021, with what appeared to be his first ever song, 12 AM. A clear homage to King Von's 2020 song, 3 AM, Duke even interpolated Von's flow in his version of the track, while the song as a whole was an incredibly disrespectful diss towards O Block's dead enemies, with one lyric referencing a shooting where a woman got hit, rapping that even if a girl gets hit, he doesn't give a F because he's trying to do his ops like FBG Duck, who was famously shot dead by O Block members who would also hit the woman that he was with. Duke would also give a shout out to one of Duck's killers, C Murder, as well as shouting out Heck, or the Headshot King, rapping how they are the Get Back Gang, kind of implying that HK was his alleged partner in crime and the potential shooter or driver during the hit on Taekwon World member Poppy. Duke would also rap about lurking in the streets trying to kill their ops so much that they forget to even eat dinner, while proudly repping his King Kong nickname that King Von gave him, and saying that you can't even hang out with him if you haven't killed someone. The song also had a music video where Duke can be seen rapping in O Block, flanked by some of the most notorious members like E-Dog and Muwop. Fans loved the song, with many saying that he even had some of King Von's spirit in him and that they were excited for Duke having a bright future in the rap game. Duke followed that up with songs like Winnin' and Right Back, where he rapped about doing drills where the witness was killed too, with some believing that this is another reference to the janitor that was killed on the Get Right hit. The song was an instant classic. One comment said that Duke was even picking up where King Von left off, and another called Duke 3 for 3 as a
We'll listen to that. We'll listen to that song. What was the song called?
Had some of King Von's spirit in him, and that they were excited for Duke having a bright future in the rap game. Duke followed that up with songs like Winnin' and Right Back, where he rapped about doing drills where the witness was killed too, with some believing that this is another reference to the janitor that was killed on the Get Right hit. The song was an instant classic. One comment said that Duke was even picking up where King Von left off, and another called Duke 3 for 3 as a rapper. For fans that were longing for that Von-esque flow on hard-hitting beats, Duke appeared to be someone that they could bet on to take over the rap game. Duke also collaborated with other O Block rappers like Ocho Munna and Prince Dre on the remix for Ocho's Bean It song, followed by the songs No Hook and Off the Porch. Then moving on to one of his biggest releases of his career, this interestingly being his first international collaboration with the UK rapper Millions. Their track 10 to the O was an epic collab where Millions actually went to O Block and shot a music video with all the iconic O Block members, with Duke rapping lyrics about a murder eerily resembling Get Right's, saying that he caught someone lacking in front of the store. The video even ended in a respectful chain swap between these two international drill artists. Duke was making big moves internationally with his music, and there would also be a rumor that Duke seemingly tapped in with Central C's most feared op, Digga D, for a collab. And while nothing officially got released, a leaked track called Legally Blind featured the two artists, with Digga immediately dissing a dead op that they've been smoking on so much that he believes that he's now the UK's Tuka.
Yo. We turn to the UK Tuka, smoking like some hookah.
And Munna Duke would rap about being a 13-year-old shooter looking for a body and then walking up and shooting at close range.
Bitch, you ain't in my lane. I was 13, not looking for a stain. I was walking up, face shit, close range. Drake get the blow and I already got it.
This flow sound kind of familiar too.
Duke was getting a lot of motion as a rapper, and he kept releasing singles and music videos.
Hold on, I gotta take a It's my thumbnail. This is my thumbnail. If I can find my freaking thumbnail, John, I think it's on. Yeah. So.
All the way through 20.
I was 13, not looking for a stain. I was walking up, face shit, close range. Drake get the blow and I already got it aim.
Duke was getting a lot of motion as a rapper. He kept releasing singles and music videos all the way through 2022. Then, leading up to the release of his full project, Munna Duke would release the track Passenger Side, rapping that he didn't cry after Von died, but he still planned on getting Get Back, a message most likely aimed at Quando Rondo and Lil Tim, suggesting that the Get Back gang might still be out looking for love. While Duke would also shout out the up-and-coming generations of O Block. Then, in August 2023, he released a full project called Welcome to the Jungle, the title and cover art being a clear nod to the face of O Block housing projects. Duke promoted the project with music videos like the song Intro, where he introduced himself as having money to support his mama by buying her a house, his gang by buying them a chain, while also paying for many lawyers. Releasing a full mixtape was a huge achievement for Duke, because in a world where few people survive or even start a music career, let alone having the focus to complete a full body of work, is a monumental achievement. But Duke wasn't slowing down, and he would keep putting out music, like his guest verse on perhaps the longest running O Block veteran Boss Top song, Get Back Gang, a song that unsurprisingly paid tribute to the Get Back Gang's brutal campaign of revenge after T-Roy's murder. The song also featured the O Block legend E-Dog, as well as the late Zell Munna, who was rumored to have been on the FBG Duck hit, but tragically ended his own life before the trial took place. On the track, Duke proudly claimed his King Kong nickname, while rapping how he's back in heck mode after running after ops, and claiming that he puts hits on people for $10,000, as well as promising to slide twice as hard on ops to avenge both T-Roy and King Von. Unfortunately, it was ultimately this very ethos of never-ending Get Back that would likely become Munna Duke's own undoing, and like it often happens, the Get Back would come when he least expected it. On May the 10th, 2025, Munna, Duke, and Youngin headed to the north side of Chicago to the Edgewater neighborhood for a fun night out, as they were celebrating fellow O-Block veteran Glish's birthday. They would spend the night at the Pork Chop Barbecue Restaurant and Bar on the 6300 block of North Broadway.
Bro, don't tell me they went inside the bar and shot him, bro. Please.
The restaurant came to a close, and Duke, Youngin, and their group exited the restaurant. At least 2 gunmen, who had reportedly been hanging out in front of the restaurant waiting for them, would jump out of a vehicle, firing at least 50 shots, hitting Duke, Youngin, and a third man who some thought to have been Domo from the 600 set, a brother of the founder of 600 called D-Thang. Unfortunately, both Youngin and Duke would tragically pass away, and thankfully, the third man ended up surviving. The aftermath of the shooting was recorded by passers-by that showed Youngin's lifeless body laying on the pavement.
Oh, what the fuck going on? I caught it this time. No, I think y'all saw it in the beginning. It's just a video in the beginning, they let it pass.
An officer familiar with the investigation told newspapers how security video showed the gunman escaping in a stolen Infiniti Q50, which cops found less than 2 hours after the shooting, abandoned and burning on the 600 block of East 134th Place, almost 30 miles south from the scene of the shooting in the far south side. Munna Duke had posted a story on his social media just 6 hours before the incident, his last Instagram story featuring him in the car with whom many believe to be Youngin, Domo, and Domo's sister, listening to G Herbo and flexing jewelry including his O-Block chain. Meanwhile, Youngin's last post was ominously captioned, "We outside, DM the gang for the location," and Youngin too would be spotted wearing his O-Block chain at the gathering. It would be one such O-Block chain, allegedly splattered with blood, that Duke and Youngin's alleged killers would post not long after the murder, snatched off an O-Block member's corpse. At least that's what the posters wanted everyone to think. News of the deaths begun to spread quickly online, with associates confirming Munna Duke and Youngin's passing through heartfelt posts, including those members of O-Block who were particularly close with the two, like Muwop, Duke's alleged right-hand man in the murder of Get Right. Munna Duke had also recently become a father, welcoming a child with the former partner of OTF D-Thang, the late brother of rapper Lil Durk. But following him and Youngin's death, it wasn't just those close to them paying their respects, as the well-known ops of O-Block, like STL, EBT, Taekwon World, and Gyro City, would immediately begin to troll on social media. Taekwon World members paying tribute to their fallen friend Poppy, this playing to the long-held rumor that Duke had been involved in his murder. But surprisingly, none of them would pay tribute to Get Right, which many people on Reddit would argue was actually proof that Duke wasn't one of the shooters in that case. But meanwhile, O-Block and their younger generations like TSG would make social media posts promising get back, with members of TSG announcing to the world, and probably the police, that they were already busy sliding on their ops, posting on social media asking where the ops are and that they must have gone into hiding knowing that O-Block was on hunting time. But who they were hunting is a completely different matter, as it seems that when it comes to the possible suspects, there are many different theories. One of the leading drill reporters in Chicago, or drill historian as he calls himself, Truth Teller TV, would suggest that the murder may well have been in retaliation for the murder of rapper FBG Duck, meaning that the suspects may be from the sets close by O-Block, like STL EBT, aka Tukaville, where Duck was from, or possibly Taekwon World, which has many members closely affiliated with Duck's set.
You know, it's a real war going on. It's already talk in the street that this is get back for FBG Duck. And they did this for FBG Duck. I'm not sure. I don't want to throw that out, you know. But I can tell you it looked like they were targeted and murdered.
Oh yeah, it was targeted. They went outside the store.
People saying this revenge for Duck.
Another YouTuber from Chicago, also known as a Gyro City original and a close friend of FBG Duck, FYB J-Main, would take to his YouTube channel to comment on the situation, racking up hundreds of thousands of views within a matter of days, and reporting on the murders with a somber tone, despite being from the rival area.
Sad day in Chicago, bruh. 2 of the main O-Blockians lost their lives last night, bro, due to gun violence in Chicago, bro. We don't know what's going on, bro. So it's kind of early to start pointing fingers and all of that. It's never a good feeling when you lose a brother, you lose somebody who close to you, you even lose somebody a friend that you could be able to call.
As those who have followed the Chicago drill scene know, despite J-Main's previous involvement in the gang war as a member of a gang who was some of the main rivals of O-Block, he spent the last few years pushing peace in the Chicago drill community and trying to build bridges between people from rival gangs, even visiting O-Block himself in vlogs while attempting to repair the fractures between these two warring communities.
How you whooping?
One of the original old
Tay Savage.
Taking me to the O right now. Let's just start here. Come on,
Ready up? Alhamdulillah, Bismillah Rahman Rahim, Alhamdulillah. We represent that Muslimitic, man.
That's DQ.
We live here in O-Block. We got J-Main, we got DQ from O-Block. We bring it, man. We making peace. We pushing peace and prayer on purpose. Alhamdulillah, the brothers gonna make peace right here on camera.
However, not everyone was welcoming J-Main with open
And,
arms.
E-Dog.
During a subsequent visit to O-Block, he was forced to flee the scene after O-Block veteran E-Dog turned up, furious about J-Main making comments about him in interviews.
He got me on DJ. I can't do this shit. Got no say so. I ain't got no respect for him.
Munna Duke had actually come out after this visit and dissed J-Main too, suggesting that it was disrespectful of him to pose with his cereal brand in front of King Von's mural whilst also wearing a ski mask. It's understandable why O-Block members might have felt some type of way, because before J-Main was pushing peace, he was known for pulling stunts like going to O-Block with a machine gun on him. After apparent pressure behind the scenes, J-Main would take to his channel once again, giving a chilling update on how he's been warned about pushing peace with his former rivals, given just how deadly the beef still is.
What was telling me now, J-Man, you better keep it on you now. Two old blockians just got whacked. You even the Whoop man need out here pushing this
Even
piece,
the
and you
Whoop
out here trying to
man
stop the
need
violence.
help.
But whole time, when shit like this happen, it's kind of a smack in the face. Do something different in my life, bro. Either you gonna respect me or you not.
But somewhat surprisingly, suspicions on the culprits of this double murder would also begin to fall on O-Block's former friends, Front Street, as online sleuths would claim that the person in the pictures holding the O-Block chain while wearing a ski mask was actually a Front Street member called Bawop, who, according to online detectives, is tied to at least 2 other murders, these being towards Front Street and O-Block's common enemies, the murder of Cord from STL EBT in 2021 and Lil Take from Taekwon World in 2022. Then, another leaked image would get posted on Reddit, showing another alleged member of Front Street wearing the same chain, the caption simply being a series of laughing emojis. But as the person who had posted the image would notice that it had been shared on Reddit, he would seemingly decide to delete his entire Instagram account, with the Redditors predicting that their self-snitching had made certain that they would get caught. Meanwhile, O-Block would catch wind of the rumors floating around the net, with both Ike Munna and Ocho Munna commenting on a post saying that the chain isn't Youngun's or Duke's. And in reality, it seems unlikely that anyone would spend time trying to remove a chain off someone's neck in such a public place, not knowing if the victim's friends were going to return fire at any moment. Meanwhile, other Reddit detectives have pointed out how the getaway vehicle was found burning literally right next to the Aldgeld Gardens, the home of OTF Chuckies, an Action Savages ghoulie gang, aka Bloodbath, while their members would also post subliminal Instagram posts, like an emoji showing 2 fingers up, this seemingly implying that they had just caught 2 of their ops. If these rumors are true, this could mean that O-Block is about to face some very difficult times, and the question becomes, who would Lil Durk and his OTF affiliates side with? They're longtime friends from O-Block, who have done many things with Durk and for Durk, but who have recently lost many key members due to death or prison, or Ghoulie Gang, whose rapper Chucky is currently one of the top artists on Lil Durk's OTF label, which desperately needs somebody to bring in money now that Durk will likely stay locked up for a long time. Many people seem to think that this case could be solved any day now if the Chicago police are just willing to allocate some of the required resources, but they often take their time, and only time will tell if anyone is going to face justice. So for now, I just want to say rest in peace to Munna Duke and Youngun, and for anybody watching this growing up in these kind of harsh environments that I'm talking about in this video, stay safe, and remember, the streets and the gang lifestyle only tends to end one of 2 ways. So don't crash out, and remember that you are worthy of a long and fulfilling life. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Got Lil Ross said it the best. Peace. Man. Munna Duke. R.I.P. man. Let me check out his music, see if he was really like that. But damn. It's crazy. That's the streets for you, man. I ain't got nothing else to say. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. This one dropping today.